Chevening is currently accepting applications for the 2027-2028 session of master's degree programs in the United Kingdom, and this application will run through August, September into October. In this video, I'll be showing you how to apply for the Chevening Scholarship step by step. First things first, you need to get to the Chevening Scholarship website, chevening.org/scholarships, and I'll probably be putting the links in the description. So once you get to the home page, click the apply button. Now you'll be asked to select your country or territory because every country has, their specific portal for the application. So you'd have to select which country you're from before you can access the main application portal. Right. So we're going to use Nigeria as a case in point here. And so we'll select Nigeria and search. So you choose the Nigeria Chevening Scholarship. So it brings you to the Nigeria application page. But before you go ahead with the application, there's something important that you have to know, and that's the Chevening vision. As you know, Chevening is a leadership-based scholarship. It's majorly a way of the UK government, partnering with the countries where they are present, where they have a footprint in raising future leaders that would work, with the United Kingdom to amplify the UK efforts in that country or territory, which is why you see, the alumni from the Chevening Fellowship doing a lot of things even post their studies, and also why you see some clause to the Chevening Scholarship, which is, like you have to stay 2 years post your studies in your own country. The idea is that you have to be part of the development effort. So for you to be successful in the Chevening application, you do need to know the Chevening vision. And so that's what we'll go to next. Our vision: Chevening empowers future leaders from all over the world to work with the United Kingdom to build a more resilient, prosperous, and sustainable future. This means that whatever you're going to be writing in your application, in your essays, must be centered around this central theme. It must show that you want to be part of this vision, and maybe in some ways you're already part of that vision. So it's more than just a scholarship. It's a network of leaders that are united by their shared values, world-class knowledge and UK connections to solve the most pressing challenges. So I'd advise you to go through this page on your own as well. You will look at the objective of the Chevening Scholarship. So why are they offering the scholarship to students? It's to connect future leaders to the UK. They want to expose people from different cultural backgrounds, to the United Kingdom, and to foster resilience, value-based leadership, enhance global capacity to address shared challenges. This is what Chevening is looking for. What do they provide future leaders with? World-class education, the opportunity to experience the UK and values, a lifelong partnership with the UK, and access to a global network of influential leaders. So this is the kind of people they're looking for, people that have the same visions that are aligned with them. So anything you put in your applications must be close to this. Another thing that I would like to show you would be the application guidelines, and that's for a reason. Now, so you can just follow what I'm doing in your own time and see that. So explore the application guideline. You'd see the eligibility criteria. There's a work criteria. There's um obviously you have to be from the country and all of that and be resident there. But this is what I want to show you: the application criteria. Now, for the application criteria, you can see before you begin to apply, Chevening wants you to answer these questions for yourself. Do you have good examples of leadership and influencing? That's the number one thing. And you're looking at this. What are they looking for? Your leadership and influencing skills. Why? Because they want people that can drive change. They want people that, can improve outcome for others, can solve specific challenges, can successfully implement projects. So if you have examples of where you've done some things like this is what Chevening is looking for. The next thing they want you to ask yourself before you click apply on the website is whether you have good examples of professional network. And this is not just saying, oh, I connected with this person, I took his contact, we're friends on LinkedIn. No, they want you to have networking is, about building quality relationships because at the end of the day, good work is not achieved in silos, but in partnership. And that's what Chevening is looking for. So they want you to tell them how you brought people together to achieve meaningful change. Not, that you met someone and they are high up the ladder and they are helping you. People often confuse this. This is not what Chevening is asking. Chevening is asking, have you been able to, meet people, network, build quality relationship, bring them together for the greater good? That's what Chevening is looking for. Now, the number three thing that Chevening wants you to answer is, oh, you're going to the UK to study a course, but how will it, link to the UK priority areas? By this, they mean you have to look out for what the UK is doing in your country and how your studies. So if your studies and you can't find a way to map it back to what the UK government is trying to achieve in your country or territory, then I don't think you should be clicking apply. But let's assume that you have that sorted. So you can see they're looking for applicants that can demonstrate through their first choice of university. Before now, the application used to be more robust, so you have to talk about three universities. But now, Chevening asks you to just tell us, how this your first choice of course and university, applies to the UK priority areas. And what are the four priority areas? They are looking at promoting growth and prosperity, building climate resilience, strengthening security and stability, supporting development for inclusive, effective societies. That's all. So before Chevening moves you from application to interview stage, they are telling you that you should have researched your courses, all of that, and tie up why your modules are needed to achieve your specific goals. And the fourth thing Chevening wants you to know is, do you have a solid career plan? They're not about to waste their time and resources on people that are not sure of where they're going or what they want to achieve. So they want you to have short, mid, long-term career goals, which has measurable, that are measurable and clear, and demonstrates willingness to collaborate with the UK in tackling shared global and local challenges, to advance growth. All of this you have to demonstrate in your essays. And this is quite steep because you just have 300 words for the four Chevening essays, and you have to convince the reading committee to move you up to the interview stage where you can further, convince the panel and then get the award. So we'll go back now to the application. So since we're already established in the Chevening vision and all that, the kind of person you need to be before you click apply, we would now apply for this scholarship. We're here at the Nigeria portal, but you have to also still select your country. So I will type in Nigeria. And because they have another fellowship, which is the Chevening Oxford Center for Islamic Studies, so that's the other thing that you're seeing. So if that applies to you, you may as well try that out. But here, we're here for the Chevening Scholarship. And you see, it's asking me to confirm that this is where I have citizenship, and I would click confirm. And now, because you have to register for an account, so I'll put a pseudo, one of, an email here, so that, they would send what they need to send, and then we can use that account to apply. So fill in all your details, email, phone number, but not. Once you've have all that in, you would click continue. And then confirm all of the details. So confirm and continue. All right. So once you put, an email and all of that, Chevening would send you an email, which is why you have to use, you do have to use an active email. So I'm just going to confirm on the email address that I had used. Once you click on the email that Chevening was sent to, the email address that you have used to register, then you would be required to accept some of the eligibility requirements, right? So we're going to go through that. This is for Chevening to determine to do a last check whether you're eligible to go on with the application. So to get past this, you have to agree that you are eligible. So now you've passed the eligibility check and they would send you another email. So you'll now have to go back to your email address and click on it. You click on the new email that Chevening sends to you after passing the eligibility criteria. This is what you get. And you must never forget your code. You must never forget your code. The code that Chevening sends to you, you must keep it. So the advice is that you screen grab it wherever or you copy down the code. Once you've copied the code, you can move on with the application. Now they've asked you to submit the code. So you put that in and click submit. So for you to continue, you'll be every time you come back to your application, you will be asked to provide this code. This is why it's important that you do not lose it. Okay, so now we're in the portal. So just so you know, this whole application is just for education purposes. So I'll be withdrawing this form, this application, once we're done with the video. So this is just a disclaimer. So one important thing is that you should never submit until you're ready to submit. Now, Chevening over the years have improved, the performance, the user interface of the portal, so that you are not tempted to submit because people used to complain about submitting before they are ready because they just didn't know that that's what the button meant. But now, this is even grayed out until every other thing is completed. So for personal details, we'll just walk through it and then you can fill it in your own time. Personal details, definitely, as the name implies, just fill in your personal details, your names, your pronouns, your date of birth, where you reside. That's all you need to fill in here. When you finish, you just need to save your progress or save and complete for that. But I advise to just save your progress in case you need to change anything in future. Then you go to the other tab, citizenship and travel documents. It's taking a bit time to load. So same here, you fill your passport details, your citizenship details, your residency, legal residency, and all of that details. That's all you need to fill here. And same thing, save your progress. You do that for all of this, your higher education history. So let's just show that. So for this, you just come here, you click add higher education history, and then you choose your school, your GPA, all of that. So if you went to Covenant, so let's have to still select your country. Let's say you went to school in Covenant University, Ottawa. So that maybe what did you study? Maybe English. You got a BA. You put the dates you went to school and all of that. You confirm, save, close. But you see, because I didn't enter all of the details, I can't close that. So I'll just go back. Right. So return to overview. Anytime you're done with things like that, brings you back to the home page. So another thing, you add your program of study. Um, for work history, you have to put in, where you work, whether it's volunteer work, all of that. But Chivney wants you to have up to 2,800 hours of work experience, so and then you can add up to 15 entries. So once you put any um job, experience, Chivney automatically calculates the hours and puts it here for you. So if you say you've been maybe working at Shell since 2025 and you work 40 hours per week, which is the typical work hour, and you work 40 hours, which is 8 hours daily, 5 times a week, and then Chevening just automatically calculates it. Let's say your seniority, your work start date was in October 2025, and then you're still working there, so it just automatically calculates it for you. That's all you need to do here, and until you get that. So because it calculates it, you don't need to bother your pretty head about calculating. The next thing would be to your program of study. That's also an important aspect. Now we've already talked about all the things that Chevening are looking for and the kind of people they are looking for. Um, so here you just have to come choose what sector. So the sector that you're choosing has to match with the course. So let's say you're in education and teaching, and you're choosing your first choice university, whatever school. Let's see if the school has something there. So you have to find something that is around education and teaching, something that still represents that. I can't find that in this school. But you understand the point so that it doesn't look like you're a confused person. That's it. So it doesn't look like you're a confused person. So whatever, and then it has to match for all three universities. Should be. Okay. All right. So once you're done with that and you feel all of the other things, the most important aspect of this application is the supporting statements, which are your essays. I'm talking about a bit, so I won't waste time here. But you have four essays to write. Chevening will first say, describe a time where you demonstrated leadership. They want you to answer these questions in the in your essay response. So tell us the context, the situation. So the STAR method is your friend when you're writing these essays. They want to know the situation. What was happening? What did you face? And then what actions did you take? So that's the task, actions, and what was the outcome, which is the result. And what did you learn is the other R, which is resolution. So what did you learn? So if you're using the STAR, STARR, then you're fine. So you have just 300 words, minimum of 100 and maximum of 300 words. The second essay, tell us about your professional relationship or network you've built in your workspace or community. Like I said, don't tell us that you and your boss are besties and he has helped your career growth. No, Chevening doesn't want to hear that. What Chevening wants to know is, okay, this relationship, how did what happened? How did you bring people together? What did it change? What good did you use it to achieve? That is it. So always go back to that vision. Don't let some of these things deceive you. Same thing, you have 300 words flex here. And then your first choice of university. Tell us, we looked at the priority areas earlier. So that's still here. What are the priority areas you want to focus? So it's not just about you studying. Is it education? Is it climate change, and all of that? So tell us how this course that you've chosen applies, and you're good to go. Then your career plan essays, they want to know how getting this scholarship and this MSc education, what's not, would accelerate your career or help you achieve your goals. So those are the four essays that you need to write. Same word count. If you have access to someone that can review your essays, that's a beautiful thing for you to have. And then make sure that you submit on time. If you start writing on time, submit on time. Don't wait till the last week. And once you're done with everything, just click submit application and you are good to go. So if you found this helpful, share to someone that needs it or is considering this scholarship so that they see how to work through the entire application process. Thank you so much for watching.